Michael Carnevale is branch manager and financial advisor. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated, 400 Southbridge Street in Auburn, Massachusetts, 1-800-657-9126. A member of FINRA SIPC and are not deposits, not insured by FDIC or any governmental agency, not guaranteed by Webster 5 Cent Savings Bank, and subject to risk, may lose value. Webster 5 Cent Savings Bank is not affiliated with Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated. The information contained in this report does not purport to be a complete description of the securities markets or developments referred to in the material. The information has been obtained from sources considered to be reliable, but we do not guarantee that the foregoing material is accurate or complete. Any information is not a complete summary or statement of all available data necessary for making an investment decision and does not constitute a recommendation. Any opinions are those of Michael Carnevale and not necessarily those of RJFS or Raymond James. Expressions of opinion are as of this date and are subject to change without notice.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Richard Morco, belonging report and conversations with Mike Carnevale. We hope you're watching this either on TV Charlton or YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, if you could hit the like and subscribe button, we would be grateful. So, things are happening.
They are.
We
just wrapped up August.
We just wrapped up August, and I was listening to something, and the economy is a little strange. We found out the level of first-time home buyers, 56 years of age. So if you're 49, you got several years more to go before you buy your house. The other thing, we heard somebody say, 7-Eleven can't get anybody to work for them. But high tech have layoffs and hiring nobody. So for this, you went to college. Now, when we came in, I showed Mike a little piece of paper. At September 1st, 1949, my beloved parents, because they were responsible and wanted to make it so that as later on I would have some money, they took out an insurance policy on my life.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
nice
so that later on I would
have some money to retire or do what you want with. Yeah.
It was for, in 1949, $1,000. I got a piece of paper, I get one every year, telling me where that is now. I could, the cash value is now $1,431.31. I will now be able to retire to Antarctica or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
So, August wasn't a bad month, you think?
No, it was a good month. Not for you, but...
No, well.
But for everyone else it was.
So I will be leaving on a slow boat.
Yeah.
Right after the show is done. All right.
Yeah, no, August was a pretty good month. Normally it isn't a great month.
Yeah, but you said that's about July too. Right?
Yeah.
So July and August, even though we can't get to this, can't get anybody to wait on us at 7-Eleven.
No, they've all been deported.
The Dow
There was a report, though, that came out that this year alone, 1.2 million immigrants have left the job market.
They've left the job market? Have they left the country?
Well, the assumption is that a lot of them have left the country.
Okay.
They've taken up the what is the Homeland Security's offer?
Offer?
That's a generous offer. I mean, a free plane ticket. I've never gotten a free plane ticket in my life. Free plane ticket, a stipend. I've never gotten a stipend to travel. And the opportunity to come back.
If ICE is listening, I swear that Michael is not an American. And he's ready to get on that plane.
That's, think about it. I've never received any of those benefits.
Well, what country do you want to? I mean, it's going to get colder here.
It is.
And so countries to the south of us will be warmer.
We'll be turning into summer, so
Yeah.
and they're going to send you to, you know, Uganda was, I guess, one of the countries you could go to. You know, a plane ticket. You know, not of your choice.
Oh, he's an American.
Not of your
no,
choice.
Well, that's a different story altogether. Okay, well,
August was a good month.
August was a good month.
You know, the Dow gained over 1,400 points, set an all-time, had two days all-time records. Got over
the
45,000.
all-time record thing. The all-time record thing. That you got to admit, even though you say most of it is only part of it is inflation.
Right, half of it's inflation.
A daily increase, a daily record, that is inflation.
Mm-hmm.
So we love them, but we're better than not an all-time downturn record.
Right.
We don't want that.
Right.
Okay. So the Dow gain in the month, 14?
In the month, 14, 3.2%.
Okay. Well, that is big. That's good.
Prudential only paid you 3.5 for the year, according to that sheet.
Yeah. And I wasn't, my gratitude knows no bounds.
I understand. You were excited to show that, so that's.
I was excited to show it to you.
I hear you.
All right, so we had two records.
Mm-hmm. The year's been good. The Dow's up over 7% for the year. I don't think anybody was predicting that in January, with all the new administration and all that surrounded that. I think a lot of people felt that maybe this would not be a good year, and lo and behold, it's been a very good year.
Well, I remember when things were first starting with Trump and we met, you did not look amused.
No, I think it was.
Now I said, all we can do to keep you from jumping up and tap dancing.
Well, I think everybody likes this, but we still don't know how this will all end.
Well, you know what? I know something about how it's all going to end for both of us.
Yeah, ultimately, yes.
Ultimately, so we do know.
But but we're talking.
But we don't know if we'll be walking around barefoot because we couldn't afford shoes anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Or we can get those really special floor shines. We don't have to buy those crummy sneakers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh? So I'm predicting nothing. Do you have any hopes?
I always think it'll all work out, but I hope it all works out because, people who stayed in the market and whatnot, they've really benefited from all this. And
well, what's the alternative? That's why,
Well, the alternative is to have not participated in the market, and then you're that farther
so there's
behind.
really no, other than if you know something, really you've really studied this over the years. Maybe gold, maybe silver, maybe Bitcoin, maybe something.
Right.
But how many of us can really know that?
No.
But what's the big sure thing?
No.
John Bogle, you know who he was?
Yes.
He came up with the sure thing.
The index fund.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And
But
that lasts forever.
But without digressing, the index fund, the S&P 500 index fund of the John Bogle year, is not the same index fund today.
What is it like now?
It's really Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA.
The FAANG.
Yes, it's like 7 stocks, whereas in his time, well, there's still 500, but there were probably no one stock made up as big a percentage as some of these now, and certainly technology was not as big a percentage as the index is today, compared to then. So I know a lot of people say, well, S&P 500, that's the way to go. Well, during Bogle's time, it really was a diversified.
Yeah.
Now the S&P 500 really is a technology index.
Okay, so those have gone way above everything.
Right.
How about something like Boeing? Is that still, that's still part of it,
It's
isn't
still
it?
part of it, right.
But it's lost some shine.
Correct.
So
it's
there's still big industries there.
still big industries, but what Boeing does is irrelevant to what NVIDIA does.
Yeah.
Because the index is not equally weighted. In other words, Boeing is not valued the same as NVIDIA. It's market capitalized. So the bigger companies represent a bigger piece of the index, and that's where you've got those 6, 7, 8 companies that make up a big piece of the S&P 500 index.
What was the first real tech stock?
Oh, it's probably IBM.
Yeah, I was a boy. Actually, I grew up in the area where the Watson family had an estate.
Okay.
But you hear about IBM, and that was huge on the stock market. Not only did the father who founded it do something brilliant, his kid did it. He kept it going.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember talking with somebody who had money to invest in the early 80s. And they put it in IBM. I said, why do you like IBM? So my dad said, that's one stock you can always count on.
They say that about GM too.
Yeah. And GM is still, I guess, at least in the Dow, or I think it is. Or
I don't know, but it's not the same GM of years ago. The GM of years ago got wiped out.
So when does Google get wiped out? When does NVIDIA get, and
as long as they can keep reinventing themselves, like what Microsoft did, like what Apple did, like what Kodak didn't do, like what Polaroid didn't do, right? As long as they can keep reinventing themselves and sort of staying one step ahead of whatever, they can go on forever. It's if they can't.
Well, funny you should say this, because I have a friend who wrote a book,
Okay.
Always Day One. Basically said that same thing.
Okay.
Always Day One, that Bezos gets up in the morning and he says, I got to reinvent the company again.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the whole attitude of those guys. Apple, I'm not so sure. Tim Cook shines everything up, but he hasn't come up with anything really.
Not lately, but they did reinvent themselves when they were really just
But it was Jobs who did it.
It was Jobs, Steve Jobs, right?
All right.
But yeah, you got to be able to do that, otherwise it ends.
Let's get moving.
All right.
Technical. Did we get everything in this? Fed meets on
Yeah, I think we
September
did. Yeah,
17th?
the Fed meets in September.
What do you think?
17th.
92%
Yeah,
chance of a rate
they're
cut?
most likely going to cut rates.
Oh boy, and that's not going to stop inflation.
No. No.
So is inflation worse than not having investment? Because
Right.
we'll talk about that next meeting we meet next.
Mm-hmm.
Short-term sentiment. What do you say?
They got worse, but you'd expect that after a big monthly gain. Couple of the indicators actually changed directions, which is also a negative. September is historically the worst month of the year. So it's all kind of playing into, the big rally that we've had to all-time highs. Now we enter September, which is historically a bad year, although last September was positive, which ended a 4-year losing streak, and the technical indicators have gotten worse. So September could be kind of a rougher month.
My birth month. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
What can you do? I knew there had to be a reason for it.
And as he takes his little victory lap, and we
I should have saved that to the end because I don't want to give you any more free time
I understand.
to counter. But
No, as somebody who's proud of his humility, I can take the slings and arrows
okay,
of outrageous fortune. Okay, so now, dun, da, 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 Trump fires the BLS commissioner after bad jobs report.
well, this is the one who the Bureau of Labor Statistics is the one who puts out the weekly jobless claims, and they've been not the weekly, the monthly jobless claims, and they were, you need like 150,000 to, at least historically they say, to grow the economy. And the last 2 months have been well below that. The last month was really low, was only 71,000, and the next day he fired her, saying, well, we need someone who can report the real numbers. She was a Biden appointment. He uses the same explanation for everything. It was the reason the numbers are bad is they're reporting the bad numbers, and this started just before the November election because they were all Biden appointees who wanted to see Harris get elected, and there really is no evidence of any of that. But
Was there any? Did he have anything to stand on with that?
on what the numbers were,
On the BLS commissioner? Was there anything?
I don't think so. I mean, they're reporting the numbers as we report them every month. When the numbers were going up all the time, he was chiming in saying,
Right.
how great we're doing, greatest ever. Now that we're seeing a slowdown, for whatever reason, it's like, well, these aren't the real numbers. They're making them look worse than, and so he fired her.
The Fed governor, the woman Fed governor,
Yeah.
was he on more solid ground with her? I mean, I guess there was some mortgage
Yeah, I mean,
finagling on her part.
it's in the courts. Who knows what'll happen? I mean, it's all about not only wanting control, but wanting to make all the decisions. In other words, like Powell is no good. He doesn't know what he's doing. Well, Powell doesn't set the interest rates. There are 12 people who vote
But
to
he
do
has
that.
a big say.
He has one vote. That's all he
still
has.
a big say. I mean,
They all
still
have big says. He has one vote, just like the other 11 members. So, but he wants to be able to say that rates should be cut, and we'll see. I mean, they are likely to cut them in this month, only because I think a lot of it has to do with the slowdown in the jobs. And Powell was talking at his annual meeting at
Jackson Hole
Kansas
thing.
City, right?
And,
Right. So I mean, but
it seems like the world wants the rate cut.
yes. Well, the whole world has been cutting rates for
Yeah.
almost the past
and
9 months. So
He is not a fan of Trump, but
we are behind.
Yeah, he's not a fan of Trump. But
No.
there's no way he could raise him or anything.
Oh no. I mean,
So he's just going along with what he has to go along with.
most likely, although we'll never really know.
Well, when he writes his memoir.
Yeah, because all these, when they release the minutes and stuff,
Yeah.
they take out all the names of who said what. So you'll know in, like, what is it, 10 years or 20 years when they give the names. But now when they release the monthly minutes, it's all, some said this, one said that, but they don't give any names of who said what. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting on September 17th when they make the decision, and then they have the press conference after, see what they say. But it's setting up to be a rate cut.
Okay. That seems obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right. Do you have any comments on the tariff situation? I mean, it seems to be saying one thing, then another thing, then a court says something.
Yeah, the court's it's in the Supreme Court now, and we'll see what, one side says Congress is the only one who can do this. The other one says, no, as the president, I can do anything I want. The courts will decide, and, but I mean, I think you're starting to see, we will see in a minute or two that it's starting to affect inflation. It's creeping up again, so.
We will get, yeah. Places that cut the interest rates, Australia, the United Kingdom. Nobody else did anything?
That was
so
it.
Are they probably waiting on us?
Or they don't have a meeting scheduled.
Okay, well. Oil's still in the mid-60s.
It is.
And production rose.
Yep. Highest level since in April.
Even as the drilling rigs go down.
Mm-hmm.
How do they do that?
Well, the drilling rigs, that's a number that can be deceiving. I mean, most of the oil comes out of the Permian Basin.
So, okay.
80% of the drilling is
so
there. So
the oil rig in your backyard is not functioning.
Is not pumping enough to matter.
Get to work, geez,
Yeah.
What is it? Something the pump works on pedals that and you're not,
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay, well, that strengthens.
And the horse is getting older, so it can't.
If you cycle hard enough, that is really good for your muscles, for your back, especially.
Now you tell me. You should have told me this a month ago. I could have prevented. You could have prevented this.
What, do I have to tell you everything?
Well, yeah, apparently so. Yes. Yes.
We'll try to help you.
All right.
Oh gosh. All right. Drilling. The Toronto market was up following year 5 of the 6 times they won the division.
Well, the Red Sox, to some surprise.
Oh, that wasn't the Toronto Stock Exchange. That was our markets were up.
Yes.
When Toronto.
Yes. Well, the Red Sox are like 2.5, 3 games out of first place in the division now, which is kind of surprising. Toronto's leading it. So suddenly everybody's excited about the Red Sox again. Well, you want to maybe wait a minute. Toronto's won the division 6 times.
6 times.
In its history. And the following year, the market was up 5 of those 6 times, for an average gain of about 11%. And the only down year, market dropped 4%. So, if history plays out and Toronto wins the division, the Dow will at some point next year be over 50,000. And you talk to some people who have been in the market years and years, and they say, 50,000. I can remember when we were hoping it'd get to 10,000.
I told you this several times. The guy who said to me, I'm not going back into my old business because next year they're talking about a $3,000 Dow. Wow.
Yeah.
Those days long gone.
Yep.
All right. Speaking about 3,000 Dow and everything else that goes with it, inflation. It's bad. It's really bad.
Starting to creep up again.
Consumer prices rose in July by 0.2, which is what?
2.5.
2.5.
Basically 2.7 of the past year. And the core one, which is the one the Fed looks at, that was up 0.3%. And what's really troubling is producer prices are really going up. In the month of July, producer prices were up 0.9% for the month. That was the highest since March of 2022. And well, if producer prices are going up, what's going to happen next? Producers are going to pass that on to consumers, and you're going to see the consumer price index go up. That's and on the inflation news for July, that was the really bad one, is that producer prices are increasing at, 2- and 3-year highs, and that's going to eventually cross over to consumers.
Now, how connected is this to the tariffs? I mean, because now you got Japan, which is sending, well, I'd say Korea is sending a Hyundai.
Mm-hmm.
Are we hitting them with a tariff on that, or increasing a tariff on that Hyundai?
Yeah.
We are. So the Hyundai goes up.
Right.
Hyundai is not a Rolls. It's not a bad car.
Right, right.
But, I mean, it's not a Rolls. So it's your Joe average. I hope, you know, anybody who becomes president, I wish them the best.
Right.
Because I wish myself the best.
Right, yeah, I agree.
But what the heck? I mean, what do you expect? I mean, and is inflation, okay, is the tariff thing worse than inflation? I mean, I'd love to see, I grew up next to a shipyard, not right next to it, but you know, up the town. And people work there 8 hours, sometimes 12, 14. Granted, it was mostly on naval stuff. You know, right next to it was Procter & Gamble. People worked on those 8 hours, overtime and stuff like that. Those jobs are gone.
Yeah.
And was it due to inflation? Will tariffs bring them back? Have you figured, I hope he's, wishing him well, I hope he's figured it out.
I agree. I hope it...
I will be shocked whatever happens.
Well, I think we're starting to see, you know, there's always a lag time, right? And
Yes, there's a lag time.
And none of these numbers in their own prove anything. What they do tell you is a trend. And the fact that producer prices were up as much as they are, they're up 3.3% for the past year versus 2.4% a year ago. It's a big increase. Unless the producers are going to eat that cost and say, yeah, we'll lower our profits so that the consumer doesn't have to pay anymore. Eventually, it's going to go to the consumer, and the consumer will pay. And we'll see it in these numbers. It'll be interesting to see the next month or two on the consumer side.
Well, no producer lives without some profit.
Right.
What can they live with?
Right.
And that's you know, I mean, I know you and I are going to after this is over, we're going to our jobs at 7-Eleven.
Yes.
But yeah, I'd love to see them bring back the really good jobs. But is this doing it?
I mean, I don't think
we're just gonna guess.
I don't think you'll know for years to come. You know, yeah, you know, it looks great with the headlines. You know, XYZ company is investing $5 billion in a new factory, and by the time that factory's built, by the time the people are hired, it's probably how many years?
Yeah.
3-5 years. So you're not going to know.
Well, it would be better to fix the system as a system.
Right.
And do away with, you not inflate forever.
Right.
That would be better.
Right.
But Mr. Trump, I'll go ahead. I have no choice but to let
I mean,
you play it out. But
you won't know.
Right. We won't know.
You won't know for 5
Not
years.
for
probably.
at least a week. No,
Yeah.
All right. Leading economic indicators.
They continue to be negative, but July was a big improvement from June. It was just down 0.1%. But you take a look at the last 6 months, leading economic indicators fell almost 3%. The prior 6 months, they fell only 1%. So you can see that's not moving in the right direction. And it's the same thing month after month. The best component has been the stock market. The worst component has been consumers and their expectations. So you see, we're going in two different directions, right? The consumer is getting worse and worse, but those who've been in the stock market are getting better and better. So the gap's getting bigger and bigger.
Well, one thing maybe I'll try to bring it next month. Get the figures on how many people are, say, in the stock market from the sense of point of view that they're in index funds and stuff like. What percentage of people and what percentage are out there not in it?
Right.
Because they can go to the polls and vote.
Correct.
Of course, Trump's a lame duck, so there's only so much we can squeeze out of that.
Right.
All right. Jobless claims.
They're starting to go up too. Still nothing really dramatic. The key number there is you want to look at 250,000 layoffs a week, and we're not at that level yet. History shows that the economy really gets affected when there's more than 250,000 people laid off. And we're not there yet. We're like 230,000 or so, but it's creeping up. And the interesting thing about that is a lot more people, they say historically it's 250,000, but the labor force is a lot bigger today than it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago. So the fact that the numbers are really low tells you how job market is not bad, and it's better than it looks. So it'd probably take a little longer for it to really hurt the economy, I think.
Well, the
anyways.
employment report doesn't.
That's the one where the lady was terminated.
Oh,
That
yeah.
Trump fired her, and the number was up 73,000, I think, for the month, which is about half of what it needs to be.
To be fair to Trump, I would certainly say, hey, come in here, call him an expert, and say, look at this. Now, I wouldn't be shocked if he was not telling the absolute truth over it. But to be fair, that's a low number. Now, I don't.
There have been months in history where it's been negative.
Okay, well, yeah, but it hasn't been for quite a while.
Right.
So, but I don't think. You may be able to nudge something out from 73,000 up a little. I don't think. I don't know. Can you get a bigger? Was she not straight with them and everything? I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. But 73,000. That's really down.
Yeah, that's the lowest it's been in a while, but it's still positive. And there have been times where the numbers month after month have been negative. So it's still just not good enough to keep things going. It's not good enough to not slow the market down, the job market.
Healthcare led the way in job increases.
Yeah, and it has for a long time.
Oh, okay. All right.
Healthcare led in the way in job gains, and they have for a long time.
Now, government lost jobs.
Yeah, and government has been losing jobs for quite a while, too.
Yeah, I remember being once an officer in my reserve unit. He had a federal government job. And he says, we come in late in the morning. They'll punish us by making us go home early in the afternoon. Well, that is way a lot of Americans look at the Fed, federal jobs and stuff like that. But I guess they're losing them. And we've come up against we have both had so much more profound to say, but we're coming up against time. So ladies and gentlemen, we've had the pleasure of having Mike here, and I hope so, myself, Richard Morco, and we hope to see you next month. Long Hill Report, thank you very much.